So, at a luncheon in his honor in Kentucky, Mitch McConnell was giving some remarks. Now, first, he said that he thinks Republicans are going to get control of the Senate. I don't think that's even possible. Yes, the math is in Republicans' favor. They are only defending 9 seats. Democrats are defending 33. But there's only a few that are really up for grabs. You have West Virginia. Uh, it is more likely that the person replacing Joe Manchin is not going to win re-election. The Democratic nominee to replace Joe Manchin is not going to win re-election. Then you have Jon Tester in Montana. It looks like he may be in trouble. He could still pull it out, but he might be in trouble. Those could be 2 seats that would flip Republican. But then Republicans, you have Rick Scott in Florida. You have Marsha Blackburn in Tennessee, Josh Hawley in Missouri, and Ted Cruz in Texas. All of those, I believe, are in at least some jeopardy. And if one or two of those flip, we only need to take one, even if we lose Jon Tester's seat in the Senate and Joe Manchin's seat in West Virginia to end up with a 50-50 split. And then Tim Walz would be the deciding vote, much like Kamala Harris was the first 2 years of her term as vice president when there was a 50-50 split in the Senate. But beyond that, he said that if Democrats had their way, they would abolish the filibuster and admit Puerto Rico and Washington, D.C. as states, adding in 4 new Democratic senators. Well, Mitch McConnell's wrong there. Not that they wouldn't admit Puerto Rico and Washington, D.C., but he's wrong that it would be 4 Democratic senators. You never know who is going to win elections. I just mentioned you have 4 Republicans in some pretty red states that are at least in trouble, could potentially get voted out. And you have Jon Tester, who had 1 in Montana. And Montana's pretty red, pretty Republican. Yet you had a Democrat win a Senate seat there. You had a Democratic senator in very Republican West Virginia. Same thing. So you have the elections because you don't know who's going to win. It's never a guarantee. And if they were to eliminate the filibuster, it would make things easier as far as admitting Puerto Rico and Washington, D.C. as states. I'm going to do another video later today talking a very quick one talking about what that process would look like. There is an extended look into what the state process is over on my YouTube page as well. Link is in my bio. So, anyway, that's just what Mitch McConnell says. And I think he's doing it to drum up some fear and trying to get Republicans to turn out to vote because he knows that if they lose the Senate this election because of how the math works in the next 2 Senate election cycles, it was going to be very hard for them to regain power in the Senate for the next 6 years, basically, because there won't be as many Democratic seats up for re-election in the next 2 years as there are this cycle. Like I said, the Democrats are I think they're defending 23 seats out of the 32 or something like that. They're defending a lot of seats, and there's not going to be that many defended that are democratically held in the next 2 election cycles. There will be more Republicans up for re-election.